right, good people. What's up? What's up? We're back again. Shelfspace, the podcast. I am one of your hosts, Almond Brown. Always like to visit the planet once a week to do the podcast with my man, Headache Mitchell. Spaceships parked in the driveway, hazard lights on, exhaust is hot, hot, hot because we got some things to talk about. I'm gonna let my man introduce himself. Go ahead.
Good evening, good people. Once again, I am one fourth of the mightiest podcast on the face of this flipping earth, the Shelfspace podcast. I am your co-host, Headache Star Mitchell. We about to get into it this evening.
Woo, yes. You guys have been tuning in. When we drop an episode, we appreciate it. We always like focus on conversations about topics in pop culture with a focus on mental health. We're always talking about improving ourselves. We're always looking to get better. Even your host. So there are other members of the podcast. They have not been able to join weekly. Oh, let me get the dogs to shut up. Hold on. But they will be here on some subsequent episodes. So with that, I'm gonna let Headache take it, and let me get these dogs to shut up. Go ahead.
This evening, we got an action-packed show lined up for everybody. First, we're going to focus on the backlash of the artist formerly known as Kanye. Quiet quitting, this phenomenon that seems to be taking over the workspace. Going to hit you with a little mental health, cohabitation, just a plethora of things that we have going on that should make for quite a bit of entertainment for the time that we have your attention.
Yes, sir. You were right about that. Look, since we're gonna be talking about Ye, and since we're gonna be talking about Ye, so the fallout, this topic has been going. It's been going on for a couple weeks now. Seems to just keep getting worse and worse for him. But why don't you highlight the shirt that you have on here, because that is like some of the backbone of what we want to talk about with what's happening with Ye right now.
99% of the shirts that you will see me wearing on this show, all of them have been produced by my main man, Pat. His products, they run from Friday night till Thursday night, midnight. He does a limited number of printings. You get in, you put in your order. It takes 1 or 2 weeks for him to come back in. Once the prints have closed, they're pretty much gone forever. So this one kind of hit home for me with what it is that we have going on, with Public Enemy being the voice to their soundtrack being the voice to many of our lives back in the day. It was only befitting that I break out this shirt, especially highlighting the last two sectors of the group, Professor Griff and his overly vocals, and the absence of the S1Ws as well too. So we got a lot to get into this evening.
Right. Well, I always give Public Enemy credit, man. They are probably my most favorite group. Right up there with De La Soul. If I was going to be a rap group, I would have been like De La Soul. But a lot of my inspiration, a lot of my love for rap, was really rooted in Public Enemy with Chuck. So
I have to take that back because I always forget Norm, which is Terminator X. So it's the bottom three because now the face of the group is only the top two, Chuck and Flav. They've even replaced Terminator X with DJ Lord, So Terminator X is doing his own thing, Griffith's doing his own thing, and the S1Ws have yet to be seen or heard from since before.
All right, well, let's get into it because you mentioned Griff no longer being part of the group. What's going on with Kanye right now, we can kind of, it's not the same situation that happened to Griff, but it centers around the same time. No, I don't think it was the same. I don't think it was the same situation, and we'll get into. I'll tell you why. But just to what Kanye's really has said about his past comments, and it really started with the White Lives Matter T-shirt, but then he went on Drink Champs and really just lit it up. And I was watching some other podcasts with I think it was actually was Joe Budden's podcast, and he made some comments about the after interview, and he really talked about, kind of put a little bit of the accountability, a little bit of blame on Nori, because they kind of knew what they were getting into, and he's right. He was right about that, so the pressure started building after the comments, the anti-Semitic comments, what he made. Pressure started building, like these companies, that he's dealing with are going to drop him. They're going to keep him. What are they going to do? Adidas, one of his biggest, deals, kind of took the view of we're going to review what happened. But today they have cut ties with him. So and I don't know. And I honestly don't know anybody that buys Yeezy shoes. I know they're popular. They're overpriced. Honestly, you could argue in this fashion, but I don't see any that actually look good, but they were popular. So that's a big chunk of money for Adidas to walk away from. But they they decided to make a stand on that principle there. He's lost some other deals. I think it was Chase Bank, I believe, had cut ties with him, but
they got him.
Yeah. So it's the fallout. That's what we're calling this, basically the fallout. But Ye is standing by what he says. So, and for the young bucks who don't know, Professor Griff, those many years ago, did an interview where he made the comments about Jewish people. And one of the things that really got him in trouble, I don't know if you've got the some of the quotes pulled up, but he did say that Jewish people were responsible for a lot of the wickedness that were going on across the planet. That's kind of what really just, I think really got Griff in trouble. And I think Griff kind of got caught in that interview, sort of ambushed. You know what I mean? Like I don't even think he was right. For Griff's background and who he is, he's not he may be opinionated, but not I wouldn't say racist. Go ahead.
The thing with that one is I was reading that one today in preparation for the show. The Washington Post, he was saying that he did get ambushed, that we were there, that he was supposed to be there speaking about the music,
right?
And that's it. We're just here for the music. And I forgot the gentleman's name, but he slid the question in there about the music industry, and they were just talking because it was a taped interview.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of think that you have this rapport with this reporter, the way you could say some things that you know better than to say publicly. But he went ahead and he did make the comments allegedly about certain sector of people controlling the music industry, certain sector of people being predominantly responsible for the evil acts in the world. And we kind of he got blasted for it. So I do see where he felt like he got ambushed. To me, it does sound like that the interview was already preloaded.
Mm-hmm.
We just went ahead and we found a way to catch him with his mouth open and then hang him with his mouth open.
Right. So would you compare what happened with or what's going on with Griff? Are you going to say it's the same as what's happening with Ye? I don't think it's the same thing. Um,
I think it's the same thing.
I think with Griff, um, like I said, I really think Griff got ambushed. I really don't, honestly, he's come back and he's sort of cleaned that up. What he was trying to say. Um, really, I think what artists really honestly want to do is address the contract issue. But I think what Kanye said, and we can actually get to, Griff actually responds to what Kanye says, and you shared that video with us. We can actually get to that. But I think what Kanye does is, um, out of his anger, maybe out of his emotions, says some things that were really really directed at maybe one person, but he painted it as the entire Jewish race or the majority of the Jewish race. Um, and with the dealings that he has, I mean, it was kind of like, not well thought out. I mean, honestly, like we talked about it last week. I draw a line down Kanye. There's some things he says that are really, on point, and then he starts swinging in another direction where he says things that are just off kilter. Just they don't make sense. And Griff said that in his response. He said Kanye shows signs of being bipolar. Go ahead.
I take it back. It's not the same. Griff's situation is not the same as Kanye's. Griff's situation is actually worse because your boys that you came up with, they have distanced themselves from him for the last 33 years. They have cut ties with him. There is no reunions. There is no nothing. And when your boys that you made your bones with, that you helped them to get in the position where they are now, it is it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, but what about? Yeah, I understand what you're saying. What Griff said. You know, I think it even though it wasn't something that probably should have been on the record, I think it cut deep because of their relationship with Def Jam. Def Jam, however we want to say it, we can talk about, yeah, we can talk about contracts and how people make money off of black artists, but Def Jam was co-founded, started. Rick Rubin was one of the cornerstones, and he's Jewish. And so to say something like that about someone you've got not only a business relationship with, you got a relationship with, you're friends with, I thought was just, not thought out. And
But it
with
wasn't
Kanye,
personal though. That's why I'm befuddled with this one because it wasn't personal. It's one man laying his facts or his version of the truth out on the table. It wasn't really a do as you will, but this is my perspective. This is what I have been taught. This is what I believe. I'm not making this a personal attack against you.
how can you not take it personally? How can when somebody is like, look, and we said this in our meeting, if somebody said something about some black people, you're gonna take it personal because you're black. If they try to paint the whole race as this, how can you not take it personal? So that's why I didn't understand what with what Kanye's doing, and as many people he's in business with, how could he not think that someone that is a friend of his is not gonna take it personal?
Because this ain't about you. It's the same thing when your girl, something popped up on my timeline when she was saying at one of her seminars about black people riding slavery and they don't have the right to because slavery stopped at your grandparents or your great grandparents. So they have a right to say something about slavery. But then the same thing could be said about a certain sector of people that they are not part of the Holocaust, but they are continuously to ride that wave. And we will ride that wave for as long as we are allowed, that you are going to allow us to ride this wave. Don't say anything about us. Don't call us out. Don't even mention our faith. Don't say nothing.
So when you talk about my girl now, you saying Candace Owens?
Of course.
Look, Candace Owens is not my girl. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with nothing that she's done. Actually, she's doing what I think she's doing what you know, a lot of these artists are saying. Somebody says we're frozen. She's doing what a lot of these artists are saying that is being done to them in these contracts. And so she used Kanye, you know, to really promote her documentary. And I heard someone else say that, and thought it was, you know, thought it was really on point, using him to get eyes onto what she's doing. So I'm not in agreement with a lot of what she's doing. And I think if Kanye were to remove himself from his emotions, he actually would see who's using him, who's helping him, you know, whatnot. You know, I just think he's a little short-sighted with what he's doing.
Okay, but the thing about it is now, she has to go into damage control mode because she was right down front at the center of this hurricane, and she's going to do to him what Public Enemy did to Griff. And she made her bones up off this man. And just a week ago, it was get over it. It's just a shirt. It's a statement. Black people need to get off of this. So now it's time for her to start backpedaling. I'm waiting on her to start making her statements that she does not share the same intimate as Kanye West. That's coming. And it has no choice but to happen in order for her to protect her brand. Don't have anything, sir.
Oh yeah, there we go. I'm getting some comments that our live is frozen. But go ahead, keep talking. I'm going to check this real quick.
But that's the thing. I mean, she has to do this in order to protect her brand. And he's about to find out you don't have any friends. Because, I mean, Balenciaga has stepped away from him. And if he hadn't have championed for Balenciaga the way that he did, they would still be Balenciaga, but they wouldn't be relevant as they are now. The same thing with Adidas, when they thought that they were doing something, when they snatched him up, and everybody called Nike crazy for letting Kanye walk. But then now they have turned around and they have walked. Foot Locker is starting to pull their inventory. So if those of you that are looking to get Yeezys, you better go ahead and get them now, because the price is only going to shoot up and people are going to eat off of that. It's going to be the same thing. It's a financial debt. I mean, a financial debt. And then now Forbes has kicked him off the list because of the deal that he had with Adidas. What, $1.4 million, $1.5 million? I mean, $1 billion was tied to that deal, and then they snatched it away, and then now you are. My biggest question now is for me to ask you is Kanye broke?
Right. All right, let me do this. I'm going to end our stream and restart it. For some reason, it is not playing on Facebook. So I'm just going to come out and we're going to just hang tight, and I'm going to restart it.
Roger that.